Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast from your host, Pearl Dane, the one, the only, master propaganda heroes like defender of the fatherland. In the east, it is... what was the name again? It is Amita, fighting here for America, freedom, democracy, here with the 1st Infantry Division, tasked with pushing onwards for freedom and democracy. In the west, it is Havoc by name, Havoc by nature. Havoc, fighting here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, here with the 2nd Fallschirmjäger Division here, straight with the Luftwaffe and the Fallschirmpioniere. Dropping quite aggressively up here north in the northern end of Taranto. Also, very big thanks to Philip for pledging on Patreon and support the Propagandacast with his hard-earned money. And a big thanks to Iron Fist, again, for donating and supporting the Propagandacast with his hard-earned money. Big thanks to everyone else as well who pledges on Patreon. So, yeah, we're off to the races here. A 1v1 here on Taranto Coastline. We got Riflemen here, we got Engineers. We got here the Scouts heading northwards there for Amita. Freedom and Democracy. Falcon appears about to clash with them, but the can't indicate was the, I imagine, guarantee of the Scouts there. I suppose they could be Springfield Rifles, I don't know. There goes shots fired. Scouts are taking 2 hits here versus the Falcon Pioneer. The Scouts are definitely not quite geared for that level of combat. Another Falcon Pioneer squad about to hit here for Havoc and Das Vaterland. We got Pioneers here rushing some of those key points of the map and using northwards. Rifle squad, they're pushing northwards as well here. Advancing through the once quaint village streets of Taranto. Scouts, they are just not having the greatest time. We got the 2nd Falcon Pioneer squad spotting in for the northern fuel point here. Rifle squad pouring in, going for that northern fuel point here, charging in. 2nd Falcon squad nearby, quickly backing off. That doesn't pursue here. Could, of course, just take a different path here. Try and flank around, maybe. Catch the Falcon Pioneer off guard. Scouts, though, definitely need to get out of there because they're not just one man. They're just going to be a waste of manpower to commit to, like, any engage right now here for them. Rifle squad, they need to get into heavy cover, I think, in a more proper way. The Falcon Pioneer here, basically getting 3 shots at them as they are sticking theirs out way too far from the heavy cover there. Got the Engineers moving up here, might be flanking around the Falcon Pioneer, that'd be pretty good here, but so far, really strong opening here for Havoc. Got the few points under control, and again, this rain also is just like, thanks to the Falcon Pioneer, quickly held by him. Flamethrowers could be an option here for Amita to like try and burn out the Falcon Pioneer. That could be a very good addition. MD42 almost done. Far south Pioneer's going to hit that nation's point here. Nothing further there from our opponent. Pushing upwards here, no sign of flamethrowers. Falcon Pioneer in the building. Rifle squad very low and healthy. Like if you had grenades, you could like quickly breach the building, clear out the Falcon Pioneer there from the house. Engineers pulling forward. We do get the flamethrower there, the M2 flamethrower. And now we got the house there quickly occupied. The Falcon Pioneer found themselves then on the receiving end of a lot of very upset Americans. Southern makes appointment grabbed here, with the Germans, no response. We got a 2nd Rifle squad there on the way for Amita, 3rd one. MU42 being held forced by Havoc and the 2nd Fallschirmjäger Division, 5th Fallschirmjäger Company.
We are losing control of a sector.
Sandbags here. Rifle's going for the Pioneers. Note that after Crete, most German Fallschirmjägers really just, didn't really see much actual airdrops. There were some like minor small-scale ones here and there, but for the most part, they just served as elite light infantry divisions, typically though with Stuks attached to them for armor support. Fun fact. Very fun fact. Their scouts based up north here, and there were 2 divisions fighting course in Italy. Which is probably like the largest number of some of the more elite units that had fight in Italy. They were Fallschirmjäger divisions alongside the Gebirgsjägers. Panzer Division wise, it's actually pretty low there for Italy. M4 casting the knees here. Just press them, pushing them back here. Pioneer and Falcon Pioneer supporting their salty on the house here. Need to retreat the knees before they get, well, scorched. And of course, right here, the retreat path is not looking great either. They risk running right past all these very, very eager to murder American Germans. Yeah, looks like he was a bit smart then, got a bit lucky as well. But even then, his luck could run out here. There's the advancing Falcon Pioneer. Also progress to the south here from Amita. Stabilizing a bit here, but still, 2nd Falcon Division hitting hard. We've got the fuel upon his cease as well, but the Americans, thumbs up there. And we got the BARs here needing to hit hard against the German infantry. The addition of the Browning automatic rifle will of course represent a significant boost there. Sandbags up there from the Fallschirmpioniere. Got reconnaissance runs, so likely going to try and push from fast Fallschirmjägers. Fallschirmjägers are certainly very big, and one of the primary reasons why you'll see players for the Wehrmacht go for the Luftwaffe, because the Fallschirmjägers are quite good. Yes, they pack a lot of DPS, that said. The 4-man squads, they are fairly vulnerable. One mistake with the Fallschirmjägers can quickly cost them you. In particular, like, say your opponents are good with grenades or mines or something else, so... They're not uber-mentioned, but, you know... They do pay off their price tag quite well, partly again due to firepower, but also flexibility, having... Basically, being a 4-man Panzer Grenadier squad with less health, but... better DPS at longer ranges, and... Panzerfausts. But they do like the sprint. Bunch being pushed on the rifle. We've got the BARs there being unleashed against the Fallschirmpioniere here. Being overwhelmed there by all American infantry. Interesting enough retreat here, but that's probably due to an MD-42 that's set up here behind a crate of oranges. Grab the sun munitions point our way from the Americans. We've got a Jaeger squad here for Havoc. Probably in a pinch case, like say they get hit by fast light vehicles in M16. You can have a Panther Strike ready, and we've got also Fallschirmjägers dropping in here on the northern field point. Going in from above. This is the FT-42s. Note, early Fallschirmjägers actually dropped only with a pistol. Their weapons were actually dropped in a separate canister. Crete proved that to be a really bad idea, so they started dropping the Fallschirmjägers with the main weapons, because while there was some initial concerns, you know, it could cause them to break the legs, as they found out at Crete, turns out it's better just break a leg than get murdered by someone, because you only got a pistol to defend yourself with. So, very important lessons were learned at Crete. Very important lessons. Got a mortar team out here though for Amita in the first invasion. Some nice and slow support here for the Americans. We got the medical station up there. Also very good addition here. Fallschirmpioniere maneuvering about. We got no upgrades for them as of yet. Fallschirmjägers here by the northern field point. Mortify them, provide route for occupying nearby crucial terrain here. Captain hits the mine there. Bosses are quite harsh. South here, Fallschirmpioniere and the Jaeger support pushing southwest. They're looking to once more threaten the southern field point here, reclaim the southern munitions point. It does also mean he does get a lot of munitions here for... It's like route squad, you know. Additional BARs much faster, so that's obviously pretty good here for them. Fallschirmjägers quick to focus down here the Flamethrower. They are easily the biggest threat to the Fallschirmjägers behind the heavy cover. MD4 to the Priding, excellent base of fire here against the Americans behind heavy cover. Mortar, of course, could prove to be an excellent counter for the MD42 in that sector. What's happening there up north? Fallschirmjägers route the engineers here. Amita's forced to withdraw the engineers and the GIs here. Meanwhile, Mortify keeps raining down the MD42 here. And we got a second Fallschirmjäger squad here. Second Fallschirmjäger to be short here. Really pouring it in there with the infantry versus the Americans. And typically, like, if you're going to go for it, you typically, like, you know, 1, 2 Fallschirmjäger squads if possible. Or at least 3 Fallschirmpioniere. But again, various builds here.
We have Fallschirmjäger ready for orders.
Mortify, they almost got the MD42 here. Any upgrades? We do not, except of course we do have the medical station. The thing is, like, one of the reasons I personally kind of like going for Luftwaffe from time to time is because, well, you don't actually need the healing, because most of your airborne, well, most of the Luftwaffe units, well, all of them actually, have self-healing with veterans who ones. If you can, like, play it smart, you know, not get them pointlessly murdered, they will actually, like, you know, just heal themselves, so that way you can sort of get away with just skipping that one. Sort of, in most sectors. Of course, there might be, like, some really bad engagement we just kind of forced to it, but on average, if you, like, you know, avoid those developments, you can, you kind of get away with it. Anyways, enough about that. Fallschirmpioniere holding up here. No upgrades yet for the Fallschirmpioniere, no MD-15s or the Granatenbüchse 39. We got the Fallschirmpioniere, we caught the route squad and the scouts moving forward here for freedom and democracy. There goes South Charge off the Havoc, trying to get lucky, cause some havoc. Instead, the only havoc he does cause is ruining the local architecture and probably ticking off a lot of local Italians. Captain there as the Falchion Pioneer. And of course we got the M1 Morty in support as well here. Almost got the Falchion Pioneer, the white close call there for Havoc. Up north, Amita's men push forwards again, trying to keep the fuel and the victory points out in the hands of the German army. But the Fallschirmjägers and the Jaegers are putting up stiff resistance here against the Americans. Grenade off-field routes being pushed back. Also worth noting, and we also got news that we'll be getting a deep dive on the upcoming balance patch next week. 20th of April is when they'll be having a stream there talking about it, so we're going to see what kind of stuff they provide there, and like, you know, what change they're actually implementing. I'm looking very much forward to seeing what's going to happen there. Looking very much forward. Also, for those, by the way, who use Amazon or Twitch Prime, if you subscribe to Twitch Prime, by the way, you can get some free skins for the Wehrmacht, the Night Hunter pack, so that's a neat little detail there as well. And there you go, Pioneer Squad once more win here for Amita against Havoc. Falchion Pioneer all round. South here, Falchion gun for catching the captain. FD-42's quickly running through his men there, mortar firing down closely. More rifling out here for Amita. As for Havoc, at this point, you can go for infantry service. You can also go for the Luftwaffe combat group. So considering he's going straight for the Panzer Company, I'm guessing he's not going to go for that now. He's probably just going to go for a Panzer IV. Falchion Pioneer, the court suppressed. More likely, he's just going to go for infantry service because it does make his troops cheap to enforce. This includes, of course, the otherwise fairly expensive Fallschirmjägers. Like, cutting off 25% of that is pretty good. Pretty good. Something here, like, in a Troy dates, like, you know, I think close to 20 is what most professionals would term pretty good. So I'm a bit surprised he's a bit caught up and forgot about that. North here, they again continue heavy fighting here for Northern Field Point. Between Havoc and Amita, Fallschirmjägers push back, mortar on the move again here, and there you go, we do get the infantry reserves. And again, went from 39 to 29. That's a big saving there on manpower. North here, we got Pioneer with double flamethrowers. That is a lot of flamethrowers and a lot of fire.
Enemy forces have claimed our territory.
You fought through the veterans one. Well, that was a close one there. I think he's using the delayed fuse high explosive barrages. Yup.
They still have 250 points left. We must persevere.
Which I think, by the looks, probably destroyed, but kind of made it look like that all the way. Bigger boom, but again, as you might notice, a bit of a delay there. Bit of a delay. It didn't destroy it, but certainly I think caused the crew there a bit of a ground patch situation. Up north, the troops rest here. Fallschirmjägers, Falchion Pioneer caught them with the BAR there, wielding riflemen, unleashing a torrent of lead and insults here at the German troops. Victory points wise, Havoc there, and the second Falchion Division here is leading against the Americans of the 1st Infantry. No mercy here. Falchion Pioneer there goes south, charge off here. Fence destroyed by the Germans. Wood all over the place. And there we go. We got the Panther IV on the way there for Havoc. Meanwhile, no sign of armor yet here for Amita. At this point, best he can go for is, well, bazookas. In fact, he's going for bazooka teams. I have noticed some players will go for that as of late. Typically, in which case, they will like to be going for armor and then try to use the bazooka teams to stall out for an easy 8. Not always, but, you know, some of them definitely do. They'll stall up for like 76mm Shermans using the bazooka teams here. And certainly this map isn't necessarily bad for it. Like, there's a lot of corners, lots, you know, blind spots and all that, so you can sort of sneak up the bazooka teams, I think, to do that fairly effectively. Fallschirmjägers there breaking through, and the other Pioneer Squad got wiped out, meaning the flamethrowers, they are lost. Almost got the Fallschirmjägers here, but fortune slips through the hands here of Amita like a very, very slippery fish. Panzer IV, they're pushing forward here for the German army now. Supporting here the 2nd Fallschirmjäger Division. Fallschirmjäger divisions, but I did not have panzers attached to them. The Fallschirm Panzer Division, of course, dead, but there's one paratroopers. But again, some Fallschirmjäger divisions would have had Stugs attached to them. As again, these served less as again airborne units in that sense, but rather just elite infantry units. So I might even have Stu-42s attached to them for all I know. So Panther 4 the ready, of course, would benefit a lot from the Pinamata machine and Gewehr. Order far up north here against the Jaegers. Far up north, you can see here, Amita trying to extend the presence towards the northwestern fuel point again. But Havoc's there, got Fallschirmjägers blocking such an advance here. Bravo pushing back the Fallschirmpioniere. Bazooka team out, their second bazooka team out here for Amita. And MD4 to the end of the Panzer 4. You also, of course, have the Panzer Strike here for the Jaegers. Of course, this map here also means, like, you know, if Havoc's not careful, the Bazooka Squad could pop an anti-tank shuttle charge on the Panzer 4, at which point the Panzer 4 could have a very, very short lifespan. Interesting enough, despite knowing where the Panther 4 is, he's not trying to flank around. He get behind the Panther 4, for example. It looks like he's going to try and go right head on with it, which definitely benefits the Panther 4 more. Whereas again, I think we're to threaten from the side here. The weaker rear armor would cause me more damage than the Panther 4, but also make it harder for the Panther 4 to like just easily escape. So, fortuitous move here for Havoc that Amita decided to go straight on with the Panther 4 or Bazooka team. Fights mixing that northern field point again. The South Americans make progress. We can see that MD-42 is halting set progress. Bazooka found the Panther 4 here, getting some light damage in there. And we got the late fuse barrage here against the Fallschirmjägers up north. Killing poor Reinhardt there. And ruining someone's petunias. Bazooka team going straight against the Panther 4 again. A volley there unleashed. One penetrates. The rest failed to penetrate. South here, Fallschirmpioniers in years, but course backed up by the MG42. Still no upgrade here for any of Havoc's Fallschirmpionier. I mean, I imagine it's not a priority, but I do find that they benefit a bunch from a, say, nice machine gun. Panther 4 they're falling back up north. Second Panther 4 there for Havoc and the second Fallschirmjäger Division. Fallschirmpionier advancing. Vets in C2. Very good work there by Havoc.
The enemy is stealing our territory from us.
Represents some nice boosts there. Scouts still alive here for Amita, and they're also still alive. Also very nice. But there you go, second Panther already here. As for Amita, we're not really seeing much of anything. Again, it's starting to look like armor into an easy calling groove here. And believing in the magic of Brad Pitt for all intents and purposes.
Enemy infantry! Research underway, Commandant. Enemy infantry firing!
Adding the side skirts, thumbs up to that. Would also not be bad as you get the Panzer Officer Quarters upgrade. South here is being pushed back into the advancing units and the Riflemen. North here looks like another clash about time. We got two Fallschirmjäger that run to the Rifle Squad and the Captain. That's not going to end up well over the Americans. Certainly not considering being caught out in the open. Of course, I spoke too soon, of course, forgot, of course, about the port on them, which allows the Rifle Squad then to suppress both Fallschirmjägers, at which point it doesn't really matter how elite they are. One squad just holding two elite infantry squads. Yeah, port on them is typically your #1 preferred choice for veterans ability for the rifleman because it just absolutely just stomps like elite infantry like that. Bazooka finding the Panther 4. Some light success for the frontal armor.
The enemy has 200 points and falling.
Jaegers move to grab that enemy foe to the back before the Americans get their hands on the south. Their influence being sent here by the Americans.
Territory sector lost.
Steady advance up here. Would be smart, I think, to move the Bazooka team up here for the central road. Try and get on the Panther 4's flank alongside some infantry.
The enemy have taken our territory.
North here, second Panther team with the Captain, backed up by some Fallschirmpioniere. And there we go. It's a tank, and it is the EC there for Amita, Freedom and Democracy. Of course, there's some extra riflemen right along all there. And the MV-42 gets wiped again. Crewing up while under fire from the mortar. This time they're just able to pick it up and immediately retreat with it. No setting up or anything like that. Big difference there from, I think, previous Communist games. Like, you know, that was something you like had to do when you crewed it. But in Communist you can actually like immediately grab it and then retreat with it. Just looking like they're just hauling off there. Like a sack of potatoes they just picked up on the run. Which kind of does make sense, but kind of leads to some frustrating moments like that. But oh well. So, we'll have to see what's happening next here from Havoc. Could be this, but more likely just give me more Panzer IVs. But yeah, having officer quarters for them would be very good, but allow them to get to veterancy, the high levels of veterancy fast, unlock just focus fire immediately, and of course get those veteran 1 bonuses going as well, which do add a bit of utility to the Panther 4. E6 pulling north and south, of course, equipped with the 5th cal there. We got Panzer Check team on the flank of the Sherman. Good shot there. Another good shot there. Barge Squad needs to move in to help the Jaeger Squad immediately up north here. Panther 4's Bazooka teams. Some shots going through, but the second Panther 4 proves to be too much firepower for the Bazooka teams. But they are very much forced to disengage, get murdered. Mortar back in action. Vet 73, by the way. 19 kills. Mortar is definitely doing some pretty good work here for Amita. I think they take to the first 23 mortar I've yet to see in the game here. And a large part of it's just been, you know, that delayed fuse barrage ability on those machine gun teams. He is absolutely exploded there, repairing here the Sherman EC-8 here. Fancy makes down to 2. We got a quick grenade off here. And straight into mine, almost getting wiped out. And there you go, delayed fuse barrage. Almost got the Fancy makes retreat as well here. That would have been a huge blow here to Havoc. Almost got the MV-42 team again. There's some impressive luck there for Havoc.
Flak 36 emplacements are available for construction.
Some very impressive luck. Up north here, Fancy makes ring about. Full platoon move here northwards for Amita. Troops on out in the south. Panther 4's being upgraded with superior amount of machine and Gewehren. Fallschirmjäger starting up at the northern victory point. We got 388% 72. Panther 4 getting the route squad here, firing off a good shot here. And then quickly disengaging. Fights with the route squad and quickly routed. Third Panther 4 arriving. Bazooka fire again. Bunch of the map people trying to make it easy for the Panther 4 to hit them, and again should try to like aim like for flanking attacks on the Panther 4 rather than trying to engage head on. Also, just a quick little note here in the Panther 4 on the armored side skirts. This is actually, I think, really actually paying a bit of attention here to like field modifications, because what we see here is actually a modified armored side skirt. Normally there's sort of a bit more around here, but it was not uncommon for the German crews to actually like just remove this part here to make this front wheel there more accessible for maintenance without having to remove the entire armored side skirt. Fun fact, I just wanted to point it out there. It's one of those nice little eyes to detail, you know, they actually put into the game there. Very nice little detail. Fighting is pushing forward, see if we've got the Rascal thing pushed back. Good shot on the Fallschirmjägers. Might be able to show, say, variations on armored side skirts. Mortify there. Mortar just continues to do ungodly work. 24 kills. I mean, this is easily the best mortar I've seen in Company 3 so far. Easily. Mostly because most players don't really put in, like, the effort to even, like, get one, and then they typically don't, like, do much with them. But, like, Amita's just been an absolute, like, just mortar maniac. Work being applauded here as well. Very good. North here, Panther 4, they're just running dug in. I think Amita like needs to switch up a bit in terms of like approach. Oh, there we go. Delayed fuse barrages again, and once more the machine is just forced to get the devil out of there. E6 pushing forward here, smoke there, obscuring here the line of fire. The Panther 4. No good shot. Got flak here, guns ready. That's it. Taranto Coastline is not great for like static weapons like that. It's like, unless like Amita would be like really insisting just tank down like a single lane with like all of his tanks repeatedly, the Flak 36 is just gonna like gain much value here for Havoc. Almost got the Panther pushing forwards here. I think that's even like the H-Rat rounds activated, but forced withdraw here. Betty to the gain for the Sherman. Pioneer's taking a nasty hit. The South Jaegers fighting trying to flank around here, but the Sherman's quick to disengage. Oh, it's actually halfway to Veterinary 3 there. Almost. It's also very much close to exploding. Grenade off of the rifleman, quickly skedaddling out of the line of fire. That north side, we can see some success here against Havoc, but his Panzer 4 remains very much entrenched and dug in. No Panzer officer quarters, we got units wiped here. Falchion Pioneer Squad wiped, leaving just with one Falchion Pioneer Squad and 2 Falchion Jaegers. So he's certainly a bit short in infantry overall. I would recommend more Falchion Jaegers or Falchion Pioneer. There's virtually an argument for the Stoss to them, but they remain, I think, a bit too inconsistent. Hopefully, again, the upcoming balance patch will involve some balance changes to make them a bit better for their cost. And White Phosphorus here from the Bazooka team. Panther forming forwards. One shot went through, the other one bounced. Bounced there. The actual bazooka rockets wouldn't have bounced, they just, you know, fizzled off. Another push forward here with the riflemen up north. At least I think they would have fizzled. And we got here the M3 armored half-track. Just as to what the intent is behind this. Reinforcements? Was it for the quad mount? I mean, theoretically go for the anti-tank upgrade, but the anti-tank upgrade currently is pretty bad. Trust me, I've tried to make it work. It's just bad. It needs some serious buff to make this one, the anti-tank half-tank upgrade, good. Falchion suppressed. We've got 2 Panther supporting them. Could even like pop focused fire here. Third Panther for the ring. With Sevi up north here. Feel like it'd be a good time here for Amita to try and, you know, make some progress up north here against Havoc. Down to 77 here versus the 366 of Havoc, and the second Falchion Division here backed up by the Hermann Göring Falchion Panzer Division. Falchion makers being utterly obliterated here. And the Sherman East here, there is almost at the east level the Brad pit status. Almost got that Panther 4. And the riflemen are just getting absolutely murdered. They are by the Veterinary 3, which is pretty good, obviously.
Enemy forces have claimed our territory.
Wow. Survived with the next to no health left here. That was honestly absurdly risky there by Amita versus Havoc. Could easily backfire and cost him again. And Veterinary 3 rifle squad. Aircraft shot of the skies. We do get an M16 up here for Amita. The Falchion Pioneer is ready to drop down safely in the west. We do see here Amita bypassing the massive Panther force to go for northern points here. Thumbs up. So that's going to force here Havoc to counter-attack, tricking a few victory points away from the Americans. E8 pulling forwards here. The Ace, the Brant Pit. And there you go. Great shot on the Panther 4 bazooka team supporting. I think the other bazooka team got pretty much turned into paste. Pasta, if you will. Moving forwards. Panther Force there, Veterinary 2. Still no Panzer Officer quarters. Up north here, mine goes off. And our bazooka team there gets wiped. Other side of thing. Up north, the right on top of the double Falchion makers, both Veterinary 2. Definitely not great news for Amita's infantry in their continued welfare. They will need some armor support or something else there. EC8, though, Ace is still being repaired here. Brad Pitt, of course, needs only the finest of attentions.
We have 300 points remaining.
Where's my avocado sandwiches? Sorry, Mr. Brad Pitt, but you know, Italy isn't exactly an easy place to get avocado sandwiches. I don't care. Get it to me now. North erupts towards the Fudgy Makers, pushing forwards there. Panther Force, they're being fixed up and getting pin-up machine gewears added. North erupts continue to buy time here to deny the Germans as much fuel as possible here, though at this point it's more about getting in more fuel because, quite frankly, Havoc's got a lot of fuel. But going to put up north here against machine and the Fudge Makers, isolate them from the rest of the force. Not bad, though without more support ultimately I don't think it's going to matter too much. And in fact now, I think Havoc sees the opportunity to actually do some damage here to Amita, switches all of his armored forces north. It's going to go for that route on retreat here. Really sharp move, and clearly catches Amita flat-footed, who did not anticipate that turn of developments here, allowing for an easy wipe here from Havoc. So thumbs up to him there. EC8 is on the move. Straight to the function piano, Panther engaging shot, bounces off the EC8's frontal armor. Another bounce there. EC8 that does not bounce. You could see a snare maybe, an anti-tank side charge here, but to go further for the side arm of the Panther 4. Actual armored side skirts did provide some fair amount of protection against early anti-tank weapons like the bazookas. Fun fact, as it turns out, you didn't need fully armored side skirts like that, so they actually switched over to wire mesh side skirts as the war went on, as they were lighter and, you know, cheaper. Which for the Panther Force was actually quite crucial. Just even with the gun, like the same family gun they got currently there, there's actually massive strain on the suspension, and the armored side skirts only added even more strain to the suspension of the Panther 4. So, fun fact there as well. Fourth Panther 4 here, though, really massive armored force. In comparison, we can see clearly, you know, Amita's hit a bit of a, you know, awkward spot that they really only got the EC8, and that's it. Maybe like a bazooka team, but Amita is lacking significantly in anti-tank assets here versus Havoc at this point. So the question is, how exactly does Amita intend to like turn the tide here versus Havoc and the German army? North here, fighting makes Batman 4-2 there. Smoke deployed here. Auto be hold a bit further close to the front line. 31 kills, by the way. The south here, got the Panther versus Brad Pitt here. North here, and the machine gets wiped again by the heavy mortar. Well, not heavy mortar, but the heavy mortar bombs. 35. I mean, that heavy mortar's just been gaining insane value here for Amita. I mean, that truly has just been the finest communist theme mortar so far here. So 2 thumbs up to Amita. 2 thumbs on that one. Even if the armor tactics and other elements definitely a bit to the side, they definitely know their way around a mortar tube. Got the M6 and link back. Probably went for it just in case, like, you know, we got the Stuka out here from the Havoc versus Amita. Maybe also, like, just deal with the, like, enemy constant airdrops if, again, Havoc decides to get a bit plucky. Up north, they're going for the northern victory points. We've got the Panther pushing in here. But just the sheer number of tanks, with the lack of anti-tank assets here for Amita, is not great. Plus, the way the engagements a lot of the time go, Amita bleeds out quite a bit here compared to the amount of the damage they actually deal to Havoc. So, whereas again, the Panther Force at this point doing a lot of, shall we say, the main engagement is drawing most of the fire, and that means they can just be repaired. So manpower-wise, it's looking a lot more favoured here for Havoc due to this. In the centre, we've got the post here for the base here. EC8 bounces shot after shot here. Need to pull a bit further away here from the Germans. Still health left, the damaging, but the EC8 ace is kaput here. Brad Pitt, of course, whisked away by heroic stunt crews, of course, die horrifically in the burning tank. Families, of course, never to receive any compensation for the losses. Medical Center down here, looking pretty much over Amita here. There might still be hope here, but it looks like Havoc might even just get people with an Ace Panther 4 here. And up north here, more Havoc being inflicted here on Amita by Havoc, and there you go, it is game over. Victory there for freedom, or not for freedom, for Deutschland, for the Fatherland. A fierce battle here with a lot of back and forth in the end. Amita, I feel like, got a bit too caught up here, and I feel at times like exploit the opportunity they had to, like, you know, either deliver some sacrifices, some good flanks for the bazooka teams on the Panther Force there, instead of, like, I think, focusing too much just, like, head-on engagements, not enough on flanking here. Plus, I think at some point, they probably just pull for, like, regular Shermans or Hellcats rather than just going straight ahead for the EZ8. I think that would also have benefited Amita a fair bit there as Havoc. Havoc, of course, played a good game as well there. Quite aggressive, quite active. Did upgrade some of the Falchion Pioneer. And certainly just leverage these Panther Force well. So, thumbs up there to Havoc. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. I do apologize for all these Axis matches in a row there as of late. Wins, that is, but it's all I get at the moment. It's like, if anyone sends me in a match, it's an Axis win, you know. And I do try to get some allied matches in myself, but the problem is a lot of them are just very quickly done with, so I can't really use them either. So it's a bit of a tricky spot. It's not because the allies are bad. I mean, particularly the Brits are, like, really powerful, honestly, I think. But it's just tough, I think, to get, like, an allied match that's also, like, interesting in some regards, I suppose. At least that might be what some people are not sending them. So either way, though, I am trying. But, you know, again, I'm not getting a lot of replays overall. And for some reason, everyone just keeps sending him in Axis wins. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something from it. If you subscribe, like, share, comment, because they're telling your friends, your family, but not your enemies. You can also pledge on Patreon, donate by PayPal. Links in the description. So cheers, everyone, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.